इकॉनमी के तो अच्छे दिन आ गए, लेकिन अब सवाल नौकरियों के अच्छे दिन पर उठ रहे हैं। आज हम आपको दिखाएंगे इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी का दूसरा पहलू। एक तरफ भारत की इकॉनमी में उछाल, तो दूसरी तरफ नई नौकरियों का आकार।
लोग कहते थे कि यूपी युवाओं का राज्य है, आंदोलनकारियों का राज्य है, लेकिन आज हकीकत ये हो गई कि उत्तर प्रदेश भारत का सबसे बड़ा बेरोजगार युवाओं का राज्य बन चुका है।
देखिए, आज की जो युवा मांग है नौकरी, ये सब उसको हिंदू मुस्लिम में बांट दिया जा रहा है।
आए दिन बच्चे फ्रस्ट्रेट हो गए सर, कई और आत्महत्या करते हैं।
एक छोटी सी नौकरी का तलबगार हूँ मैं, तुमसे कुछ और जो मांगूं तो गुनहगार हूँ मैं। एक छोटी सी नौकरी का तलबगार हूँ मैं।
Let me walk through some of the statistics. India experienced a job growth of 3% per annum in the late 70s, at a time when our economy grew at 3 to 3.5% per annum. But over the last 3 decades, our economy grew at over 5 to 8% per annum. But our job growth has been close to 1% per annum. In simple words, we are experiencing jobless growth. How do we define so-called jobless growth? Jobless growth is when economy experiences growth, but unemployment rate remains stubbornly high. In other words, the economy is expanding, but this is not translating into an increase in employment. So what are the factors that are leading to jobless growth? Firstly, India has failed to create enough jobs in the manufacturing and service sector. In fact, the share of employment in manufacturing sector has been declining. According to CMIE, the manufacturing sector employed 51 million Indians in 2016 and 17, which had come down to 27.6 million in 2020 to 2021. Secondly, India's poor system of education and job training method is creating the graduates with limited skills and are not valued by employers. In large-scale survey, employers have said that less than 50% of the college graduates entering the workforce have the cutting-edge skills they need or the ability to pick up them in the workplace.
But the reality is that 4 out of 10 employers say to me that they cannot find the skills they need for even entry-level positions. This gap, this gulf that we have in the world between the skills that students have and those that employers seek is truly making us ask the question of what is the purpose of education?
Thirdly, India has not witnessed an export boom of low-skill, labor-intensive products. India's economic growth has been largely service-led in contrast. A leap from the primary to tertiary sector hasn't been able to generate sufficient jobs. And fourthly, adoption of new technology like artificial intelligence, automations, is decreasing the demand for manpower. With these technologies, companies are able to generate high revenues with minimum manpower. Some economists worry that this may worsen the jobless growth scenario. Lastly, many women are opting for unpaid work at home. So this is what we call care economy. So that is taking care of elderly relatives and kids. In most Indian families, care work is the exclusive responsibility of female members. So there should be an attitude change towards this. Why should we be worried about this jobless growth?
Honestly, at a turning point where if we don't take care of the young, this dividend is not only going to vanish, it will be a huge burden on our economy. And it's actually about the policy making, because if the exports are down, if the agricultural income is half what it was, if GDP is only fudged in numbers, you can't have investments and job creation. You've got to shift tens of millions of people who work on the farmland onto the shop floor and then onto the service sector. You really cannot imagine in India growing at 7-8% with a jobless growth. I'm saying it very categorically, the growth that we see is numerical.
In the absence of meaningful livelihood opportunities, society will be susceptible for social unrest. So this was evident by the protests that erupted in June over the issue of Agnipath scheme.
We need a government that is more pragmatic, transparent, decentralized, and open to challenge. In other words, we need a learning government.
Thirdly, to sustain growth and attract global investments, India needs to ensure there is a trained workforce for the industry. Fourthly, jobless growth can lead to reduced productivity, as workers who are unable to find employment become discouraged and drop out of the labor force, reducing the overall level of economic output. Lastly, high level of unemployment can lead to increased social spending on unemployment benefits and other social safety net programs, putting pressure on government budgets. Also, this would become electoral mandates for political parties. It is unfortunate that we have reached this stage, which was evident in the recent election mandates. To create jobs on a mass scale and to take advantage of the global factors that are moving in our favor, we must boost manufacturing. This is said by Anand Mahindra. India has over 18 million people who turn 18 every year. We have over 100 million more people in the agriculture than required. Unless we create 20 million jobs annually, we are in deep trouble. So what do we need? We are currently adding less than 2 million jobs a year because we are growing only at 5 to 6% pre-pandemic and with an employment elasticity close to 0.1. If we continue to grow our economy and even accelerate it further without dealing with the issue of employment elasticity, the jobs crisis is not going to disappear anyway soon. Jobless growth remains the single biggest challenge to the Indian economy. A mistake made by transitioning directly from primary sector to tertiary sector without building a robust secondary sector. When I say secondary sector, I am referring to manufacturing sector. This is a time to address that now. Let us learn from someone who is best in the business. IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, gotten curious by China's growth level. So they formed a research team and they found some interesting factors. And sizable portion of China's recent growth is in fact attributed to capital investment that has made the country more productive. In other words, new machinery, better technology and more investment in infrastructure has helped to raise output. And this could be one of the biggest example where we can learn from. Also, I would like to highlight Singapore model of development. Anyway, that is a topic of discussion for another day.
China is the world's second largest economy and the biggest importer. But 40 years ago, it was a poor, largely rural nation, with at least 30% of its population living in poverty. That started to change in 1978, when China launched major economic reforms. The first were agricultural. Farmers were allowed to sell their surplus crops on the open market. Success in agriculture and more open trade led to the privatization of other state-owned enterprises. In 1980, China became a member of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. That's the same year it created 4 special economic zones to encourage foreign direct investment. As the economy opened up to the outside world, companies flooded into China to build factories and take advantage of cheap labor. Stock markets in Shanghai and Shenzhen opened in 1990. Economic growth boomed the following decade, averaging 10% a year. More than 500 million people have been lifted out of poverty since China's economic reforms began. It's been called an economic miracle, and one the global economy has come to depend on.
A robust manufacturing sector is a must for absorbing the excessive workforce of the agriculture sector, as well as enabling the nation to reap its demographic dividend. So that's it for today. If you like this video, please make sure to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Your subscription is an encouragement for me to bring more such videos. See you in the next video. Until then, take care and stay informed.